By the end of this rapid-fire study session, you'll be interpreting ABGs faster than you ever thought possible. You can't interpret an ABG if you don't know the normal ranges, and you certainly can't draw the blood safely if you don't check your patient first.
Our normal pH is 735 to 745. Now for CO2, which is your respiratory indicator, just use the trick, drop the 7s, and go to heaven, meaning it's simply 35 to 45. Pretty easy, right? And for bicarbonate, or HCO3, our metabolic indicator, the normal range is 22 to 26. Seriously, lock these numbers in your brain right now. They are the baseline for literally everything we're about to do.
Now, before you or a respiratory therapist even think about drawing that arterial blood, you absolutely must perform the Allen test. This checks the patency, or the blood flow, of the ulnar artery. Step 1, have the patient make a tight fist while you firmly occlude both the radial and ulnar arteries with your fingers. Step 2, have them open their hand to reveal a pale palm, which proves the blood flow is stopped. Step 3, release your pressure on the ulnar artery only. That palm should pink right back up in under 15 seconds. If it does, awesome. You've got good patency and it's safe to puncture the radial artery.
Okay, so you've probably heard of the ROME acronym, right? Respiratory opposite, metabolic equal. And while that's helpful for some, a lot of students find it gets incredibly confusing the second you throw compensation into the mix. That is exactly why I highly recommend the highly visual tic-tac-toe or marching band method. Let's look at exactly how that works. You just set up 3 columns, acid, normal, and base. Then you simply drop your pH, CO2, and HCO3 values into the column where they belong. So for example, if the pH is 7.25, well, that goes in the acid column. If CO2 is 50, which is acidic, that also goes in the acid column. Your whole goal here is just to get 3 in a row vertically, or basically match the pH with its partner. If pH and CO2 are both sitting in the acid column, boom, you have respiratory acidosis. It is incredibly fast and so wonderfully visual.
Section 3, Diagnostic Mistakes. Look, the most crucial point here is knowing whether your acid-base imbalance is a respiratory lung problem or a metabolic kidney problem. Students mix these causes up constantly, so we're going to use some very vivid analogies so you never ever forget them.
Think of the lungs for a second. Carbon dioxide is essentially an acid. So if a patient's respiratory rate is low and slow, think of them heavily snoring due to an opiate overdose or sleep apnea, they are retaining CO2. More CO2 means way more acid, causing respiratory acidosis. Conversely, what if a patient is having a massive panic attack and breathing incredibly fast, like a panting dog? They are hyperventilating and blowing off all that acidic CO2. Losing acid leaves the body in a state of base, resulting in respiratory alkalosis. Just remember, snoring equals acid, panting equals base. Now let's jump over to the metabolic side, which involves the gut and the kidneys. Think about exactly where fluids are leaving the body. Stomach fluid is highly acidic, right? So if a patient is severely vomiting, they are throwing up all their acid. And what's left behind? Base. So vomiting causes metabolic alkalosis. On the flip side, the intestines hold base. If a patient has severe diarrhea, they're pooping out all their base. What's left behind then? Acid. So diarrhea causes metabolic acidosis. Just visualize the fluid loss from the top or the bottom, and you'll hit the nail on the head every time. All right, Section 4, Decoding Compensation. First off, let's actually define what compensation is. Your body absolutely hates it when the pH is out of that normal 7.35 to 7.45 range. So the lungs and the kidneys start this wild biological negotiation process. Think of it as a tug of war, to find common ground and drag that pH back to normal. If the lungs are failing, the kidneys step up to help out, and vice versa. To remember the stages of compensation, I want you to use this relationship analogy. Uncompensated is an unfriendly, lazy partner. One organ is totally failing, and the other organ is doing absolutely nothing to help out, so the pH is totally abnormal. Partially compensated means they're in couples counseling. The other organ is actively trying to help balance the acid or base, but the pH isn't quite back to normal yet. It's a work in progress. Fully compensated is our ultimate goal, a happy baby. Both organs have worked together to perfectly offset the problem, and the pH is happily back inside the normal range.
So the trick here is following this exact step-by-step logic every single time, so you never miss a compensation state. Step 1, always check your pH first, to determine if your baseline is acid or base. Step 2, match that pH to either your lung value, the CO2, or your kidney value, the HCO3, to name the primary problem. Step 3, look at that third remaining value. Is it normal? Then it's uncompensated. Is it moving in the opposite direction to try and help out? Then it's compensated.
Okay, but we need to address the absolute trickiest scenario. What if your CO2 and HCO3 are completely out of whack, but your pH scoreboard reads normal, say 737? Well, if the pH is normal, you are fully compensated. But how do you match it? You look at which side of perfect 740 the pH leans. 737 leans toward the acidic side, so you know acid won the tug of war. You just match that with whichever of your other values is acidic. Make sense? Here is practice question number 1. Mentally plug these right into your tic-tac-toe grid. Your pH is 7.25. Your CO2 is 55. Your HCO3 is 25. Ask yourself, what is the pH? Which value matches it? And what is that third value actually doing? Did you get it? The diagnosis is uncompensated respiratory acidosis. Let's break it down really quick. The pH of 7.25 is purely acid. The CO2 of 55 is high, meaning it's an acid. So we have an acid match with the lungs, respiratory acidosis. Now look at the kidneys, the HCO3. It is sitting perfectly normal at 25. It's being that lazy, unfriendly partner doing nothing to help the pH. Therefore, it's totally uncompensated. All right, let's escalate the difficulty a bit. Practice question 2. pH is 7.32, CO2 is 55, HCO3 is 42. Work through those steps again. What's the pH, what's the match, and what is that third value doing? And the correct answer is partially compensated respiratory acidosis. Here's the logic. The pH is 7.32, which is acid. The CO2 is 55, which is acid. Boom, we have our respiratory acidosis match. But look at the HCO3, it's 42. That is a massively high base. The kidneys are actively trying to help out by producing base. They're in couples counseling. But because the pH isn't fully back to normal yet, it is only partially compensated. Okay, here it is, the final, trickiest exam question. Your patient's pH is 7.45, CO2 is 43, HCO3 is 33. This is exactly where most students trip up. Just rely on your framework. What side is the pH leaning on? The answer is fully compensated metabolic alkalosis. Let's walk through exactly why. The pH is 7.45. Technically, yes, that is normal, but it sits on the absolute high end of normal, leaning heavily toward base. So base won the tug-of-war. We look for a base match. CO2 is 43, which is normal-ish, kind of leaning acid, but HCO3 is 33. That's a huge base. We have a metabolic base match. And because that pH was successfully dragged back across the finish line into the normal zone, we have a happy baby. It's fully compensated. Out of everything we discussed, which mental framework really resonated the most with you? Pick your favorite, draw it out 5 times before your next exam, and I promise you will never miss an ABG question again.